What is up, YouTube? My name is Eben, and this is Theme Deck Thursday, and we are coming back to our Fusion deck, which is our Articuno and Heliolisk deck fusion, where we put these two theme decks together and try to make it all work. So we just completed in our last episode putting both decks together, and we've given it a little bit of exercise, and well, there are clearly a few issues. We definitely need more draw power. We got way too many Pokemon. But on the plus side, the deck thinning strategy seems to have worked. By searching our deck a whole lot, we seem to have better odds of hitting what we do want to hit, and we actually did get our Salamence, our one copy of Salamence, up and running. And we even managed to take down a Manectric EX that way, which is pretty cool. That's a lot to say. I mean, with this deck fresh out of the boxes, not adding any cards from the outside yet, our ability to take down an EX, I mean, that's a little bit more than I was actually hoping for. We definitely have some speed issues and the fact that we can't hit very hard. Getting energy attached to our big attacks is a big issue. So the first drop, reminding you, of course, we can only drop up to 5 cards at a time every week and replace them with whatever we see fit. Our first drop may come as a bit of a surprise to you, perhaps, but we're dropping the Pidgeot family. Our 2 Pidgeys, 2 Pidgeotos, and our 1 Pidgeot. All these are going to be going away this week. And this might come as a surprise to you. It might not. This was part of our justification for running Winona, but despite that, it doesn't seem to have done a whole lot of work for us, and we've got so many Pokemon, and we're trying to build so many Pokemon families into our deck that it just kind of makes it not happen. Especially if you're a beginning player, maybe you've noticed that when you run a whole bunch of different Pokemon, it can make it very hard to get the right evolutions at the right times, and you may be staring at a lot of hands in different games where you've got a lot of Pokemon and or energy but can't really do a whole lot except maybe play a Pokemon, evolve a Pokemon, attach an energy, and say go. Well, that's part of the phenomenon we're seeing here, and we had a lot of Pokemon and a lot of energy to begin with. So one thing we're going to do is we're going to cut out this whole family in order to try to make our deck a little bit faster. Now, we already run 10 supporters, but we're going to add in 3 more, and that's going to be 3 copies of Professor Sycamore. We're not going to add a 4th just yet, mainly because we do have a lot of deck searching and deck thinning and a number of one-ofs, and so we kind of want to play these a little more judiciously. So we are going to just run the 3 copies of Sycamore here. We're not going to go for a full 4 just yet. We're going to make some other adjustments for that, I feel. And I also wanted to save those other 2 slots to add in some very specific things. Needless to say, we're running Professor Sycamore to make sure we draw the right things, get the one-ofs we need by really digging for them. This can help us find other utility cards like Ultra Ball, etc. Now, speaking of one-ofs, we are adding 1 Pokemon this week, and it's going to be a copy of Salamence. We run 3 Bagons, or Bagon, whichever, 2 Shelgons, and 1 Salamence currently. We're going to add another Salamence. That way, if the 1 copy we had before gets prized, we won't just be in big trouble. And it gives us a little more muscle. His Shatter and Power Howl are very achievable attacks. They're not that expensive for what they do. And that can really lead us to some KOs. Power Howl was how we managed to KO that Manectric EX. So we're definitely, as I said before, we're kind of looking at this guy as being kind of our big hitter in this deck. So we're going to add a second one right away to give us some options in terms of ability to hit stuff. Because, I mean, after all, if we're just drawing with Sycamore, but we don't really have anything to draw into, or we only have attackers that are fairly expensive of attack cost, like Articuno, it really doesn't necessarily mean that much to be able to draw that deeply. So we're adding power as well as a bit of speed and consistency. And speaking of speed, our last addition will actually be an energy card, which may come as a shock to you since we've already got a pretty good energy count. But this double dragon energy is very necessary for our Salamence. Now, he's our only dragon type for now, so that's the only thing this double dragon energy can work on. But that's fine, because we've got our Heliolisk to go search it when we need it, and we've got a number of ways to go get our Salamence. So this double dragon energy is pretty important as it gets our Salamence's attack up, and his final attack, keep in mind, his Steam Blast costs us 3 energies off of him every time he uses it. So the ability to build up our energies quickly to attack in the first place and to keep that third attack happy, that's pretty important. Important enough to run another energy that exclusively works with Salamence in this deck, at least for now. So anyway, those are our changes for this week, and stay tuned in for next week in episode 4 when we will take this deck just a little bit closer to being something we might actually be able to take to a local tournament and hopefully win. Hint, hint, hint. In fact, that may even be the ultimate goal we have with this deck, is to take it to a local tournament and win the tournament with it, or at least place pretty well. That's kind of my goal. So anyway, until next time, like, comment, subscribe, check out my Twitter if you haven't already, link is below, and I will see you next time.